Good morning, everyone. Now, in today's video, we're wrapping up the fourth foundation stone for good health in us humans, which is our mental and emotional balance. I've divided this final section into two parts simply because it got too big. Now, starting with part one. I agree. At this introductory level, we can only ever touch on the main points of mental and emotional balance. For me, too much information too quickly simply becomes confusing and overwhelming. And that's why I have purposely selected from the science available and made it very simple so that we can all understand it and you, the viewer, can see exactly what is happening in the big picture when it comes to mental and emotional balance. Now, we all handle or tolerate mental and emotional, physical and or traumatic experiences different from each other. The reason is that in the big picture of the species survival, the big picture, this difference provides the variation required for humanity to survive. You see, someone is always keeping an eye out during the worst situations so that others who falter under the pressure of the moment can take time to build back and recover. No one can be permanently broken or classed as a failure. That is how it works. And who has told you that before? Now, I hope you have learned enough to see that most mental and emotional issues we humans can experience don't just happen. There is always a reason. That reason can be anything that creates a huge amount of stress on our individual system. And that stress keeps building because we simply didn't know what was happening until the wheels fall off. Now, even after their recovery, it appears that most individuals never have it explained to them exactly what happened, which is a bit silly, isn't it? It's as if the mental health industry simply doesn't know. Okay, what sort of stress can trigger the start of a journey towards mental and emotional imbalance? Well, anything that is classed as a stressful event to the individual, and the effects are allowed to accumulate. Now, stress that could have been niggling away and undermining an individual's authentic self for a long time. Maybe it was the effect of a traumatic personal event. Now, that can be a big deal. Or simply operating at an intense level physically, mentally, and or emotionally for far too long a period without a change, a break, or relief. Now, a good example is our rural community. Absolutely. Our police, fire brigade, military, and believe it or not, far too many members of our health industry. And get this, that undermining trigger could have occurred at any stage in our life from birth through the first critical 7 years of human development and onwards. Or feeling we are not being heard or safe or having a place to call our own, or feeling ostracized from the safety and nurturing of a warm family or group in our community. Now, they are all potential massive triggers to ongoing mental imbalance. And then we include the science of epigenetics, which is the experiences of our parents in a past life being passed on to the children through the DNA. But that's another story, okay? And remember that from the International Genome Study, apart from broken, damaged, or missing genes, which equate to approximately 1.4% of any group of human illness, there is no specific gene that says any human will have mental health issues. None. So keep that in mind. Now, throughout the previous videos, we have covered many interesting facts, which can all contribute to a heightened sense of mental and emotional balance or imbalance. And everything we have talked about has not come from hearsay or social media, but direct from the scientific references. And I will include them in the description section below. So as a foundation stone for good health in all creatures, mental and emotional balance is critical and just as important as the other three, being sleep, nutrition, and a healthy gut bacteria colony. And as we have learned in previous videos, they are all directly connected and therefore can directly influence and be influenced by each other. And underlying them all, as the common denominator, is the influence of our ancient human stress response, operating at too high a level and for far too long. And the stress response is simply designed to get our brain's attention to fix a problem or address a potential threat to our life. Then to trigger our physical body to move or to act now, right now. But when the stress goes on for too long without let up, it means our body and our brain is flooded with stress hormones, inflammatory chemicals, and an elevated immune response, reducing the energy levels coming from our mitochondria, which are the energy factories of every cell in our body, including our brain, along with the reduction in vital oxygen supplying our brain. And now with the brain receiving less energy and oxygen and responding to an abnormal chemical setup, which creates a different standard, we end up viewing the world from a different perspective of stress in our life, which can include a highly sensitized nervous system and a sense of threat, anxiety, and even more. And without any long-term calming period and changes to our lifestyle, which is what is required to reverse this whole ancient process, change struggles to happen. Now, all of these foundation stones, including our mental and emotional balance, are progressive issues, meaning they are always in a state of change. That's how it works. And it is when any one of them move into a state of imbalance for any period and at too high a level that our stress response is always directly activated yet again. And eventually we feel it with great confusion, agitation, and even fear and panic, because it's all seemingly out of control and something most of us have never experienced before in our life. And yet, even though it appears there is very little explanation from the health industry, it is exactly how it is meant to happen, along with a natural reversal of the whole process back to a balanced state. Okay, nice job everyone, and we'll finish this section off in the next video. Okay, bye-bye.